Hello everyone, back at it again with another ice adventure. Once again I find myself carrying my sled. Always need a pack light for these sorts of circumstances. My sled just doesn't drag well over rocks and boulders and things like that, so I find myself carrying it a lot. Someone had shoveled out an ice rink on the ice, so I'm trying to carry my sled over this little lip and then I can drag it. As soon as I was into the ice rink though, I noticed some animal tracks. Very symmetrical, 2 by 2 by 2. I don't know if it was just walking here, and then it switches to singles. See? Very symmetrical. Maybe a fox? I don't really know. But yeah, basically I was at my spot right away, popping some holes like I normally do with my Milwaukee drill and ice auger adapter. Just flies through the ice. We're up to about 13 inches of ice now, which is pretty good for this area. I noticed a little pin on my auger cover was coming loose. That I hadn't noticed before, and that's something new I need to worry about. It always seems like, especially in the cold, things just break or start shifting, or I lose a bolt on my auger, or just something crazy happens every time it gets cold. Here's a quick peek at the spoon I'm going to be fishing today. It's the Bay De Noc Do Jigger, and I've got a new underwater camera I'm going to be testing out. There's a bunch of underwater cameras that all kind of look like this. I've got one that's, probably 5 years old now, and they're all the same basic construction, and yeah, they're all pretty easy to use. They work great. They help identify what weeds are down there. If the weeds are green or brown, if they're standing up, laying down, you can get right on the weed edge. You can see what kind of fish are down there, what kind of bait, if there's plankton down there, other critters in the water. And they're all pretty easy to use. A couple little minor annoyances with this one. The way the cord was wrapped, I couldn't let the camera down while keeping the AV line in. So that's okay, I can just pop that AV line out. And the micro SD port doesn't have a cover on it. Now for an underwater camera, you're going to be around water, you're going to be out in the elements because, it's an underwater camera, that's how it's used. So it's kind of strange it didn't have a cover on there. But, you could put a little piece of masking tape on there or something. But the biggest problem with this camera is that I could not download the video. I've got hours of beautiful underwater video, and I couldn't download it. I've read the manual, I've gone a few rounds with tech support, and I will get this problem figured out. You can sort of get a peek on it on the left-hand side as I'm hauling in fish. And I've got video of them with their nose to the camera right before they eat. And I can look at the video on the camera, but I can't download it, which is a shame. That bass is about 2 pounds, maybe a little more. Not much more though. And he ate the Do Jigger. Now the Do Jigger is, it's been around for a while, and it's a flutter spoon. I don't know why I never used it before. I've used the Pimple for years and years and years, and I don't know, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I don't see it in a lot of bait and tackle stores. And so I just didn't really think about it. And then one day I was looking through, some online tackle retailer, and I saw it, and I said, you know what? Let's give that a try. And it seems to work really well. It reminds me a little bit of a clam leech flutter spoon. And my guess is this is kind of the inspiration for the clam leech flutter spoon and not the other way around, just because it's been around longer. It really does have a great flutter. That's a nice bluegill, by the way, almost 10 inches. And he ate the Do Jigger. So yeah, you can see it on camera. It has a great flash and flutter on the way down. It calls fish in from a distance. It has good drawing power. I switched out the hook to a single hook, but I do that with all my spoons. And I tip the spoon with a little piece of worm. That's a pumpkin seed going back down the hole. But you can use whatever bait you like. You know, whatever works in your area. Some people swear by mealworms or waxworms or mousies or spikes or fish eyes or pieces of cut up shiner or a minnow head. Whatever works in your area, that's what you should use. That pumpkin seed doesn't want to go back down the hole. Get back down the hole where you belong there, fish. But anyway, yeah, the Do Jigger was doing great. Now, on a day like today, I bet I could have caught him on a bunch of different lures. But the flutter spoons, you know, they have a unique ability to call fish in from a distance, to hold them in place. And it's that drawing power that I really like. So you could get drawing power from fishing bigger baits or flashier baits. And this has a little bit of both. This is the 1/6 ounce. It comes in a couple sizes. I wanted the 1/6 ounce because it would enable me to catch a bunch of different species, like these pumpkin seeds. Now, if I had a really big spoon, it's just physically hard for the pumpkin seeds to get their mouth open enough to get around the hook or get around the spoon to eat that bait. And I was on a good run of pumpkin seeds for a while here. I don't know how many I caught on this trip, maybe a dozen. But if I was fishing a really big spoon, I would be excluding all of these fish from my catch for the day. They just can't physically open up their mouths wide enough to get that spoon, to get that hook. So that's the reason on the sizing. But it's not a tiny spoon. It's about the same size as, I don't know, 1/5 ounce Swedish pimple. It's in that size range. And so it's big enough to attract some bigger fish too, and not just pumpkin seeds. So I like that balance. I like that mix. I like that I can, hey, that's not a bad pumpkin seed for what he is. Way bigger than my hand. What's up next? Oh, geez, another pumpkin seed. Yeah, like I said, I got on a good run of these. I did catch a bunch of other fish, a bunch of other species, but man, the pumpkin seeds seemed hungry on this trip. Now that was something a little bigger. I could see it on camera just for a second. I forget what this one is. That one might have been a pickerel. Look at that rod bend. That's what is that? That's a glass rod that I built myself. And it's a Sportsman Direct Extreme Taper glass rod. And I just love it, you know, especially with some kind of braid or fire line on the reel. I get good hook sets with the braid, but I have all that bend in the rod to protect light line. If the fish goes on a sudden run and the drag isn't quite right, I'm not going to break off any fish. And yeah, I just love it. I love that rod I built. I've got a mark on my dipstick there, 19 inches, and he was a good 1.5 inches longer than the 19. So we'll call him, I don't know, 21 inches or so, 20 inches, doesn't really matter. This was another good fish. I forget what this one was. This might have been the big bass. See that rod bending? Takes all the head shakes. And it keeps the fish pinned. That's another thing I forgot to mention. The glass rods do a really good job of keeping the fish pinned. They can shake their head all they want. As long as you keep a bend in that rod, they can't throw the hook. With graphite rods, it's much easier for them to throw the hook. See the water bulging out of the hole? That's always a good sign. Hey! That one's a little bit better. Oh yeah. On the Do Jigger. Or Do Jigger. On their website, they list it as the Do Jigger, but on the package it says Do Jigger. We're going to get a measurement on him on my ice scoop. He's thick too. He's right around 19 inches. And he was thick. So, a couple pounds anyway. It's unusual after I catch pickerel or bass, usually the panfish move away. For whatever reason, I was able to go right back down the hole and catch this bluegill. Sometimes when they get, plate sized, they're not afraid of the bass anymore. They kind of know they can't eat them. But usually they move away. Once the bass and pickerel come in and take a big bite of something, they head for the hills. So after I went through all the holes with the Do Jigger, which is a flutter spoon, I decided to go back through a few of them with a leech flutter spoon just to see if I could see a difference or pick up any more fish. Now I figured I'd pick up a few more fish, but I just kind of wanted to compare them. And it's hard to compare apples to apples because, you know, it's never the same exact time of day, or it can never be fishing with the same lure at the same spot on the exact same time. But I just wanted to see how the fish would react, and they reacted okay to the leech flutter spoon. You know, I know this works. I've caught a bunch of fish on it. This is the 1/4 ounce size in the perch color. And they're roughly about the same size. They're bigger spoons than most people would fish for panfish. That's a white perch. Not bad. Not a bad one. He's not super fat, but he's okay. This one, I think this one was a heartbreaker. I had this one up to the hole. I was trying to loosen up the drag, and he popped me off. I'm pretty sure that was a pickerel. And if they just nicked that leader with those sharp teeth, that was a big fish too. If they just nicked the leader, that's it. Game over. Thanks for playing. So I was a little bummed out about that, but that's okay. But that was my last 1/4 ounce leech flutter spoon. So I ordered a couple more and a couple more colors. So I'll be ready for the next time. I'm going to wrap it up here. That was kind of a quick video, but I caught a lot of fish on it. Hope you learned a few things. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Just like all my other videos, I'll list all the gear in the video description so you can duplicate what I was doing out here and hopefully have some good success on your home lake wherever you might fish in the country or around the world. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya!